fairly competitive, as we were talking about in that women's game last season. A couple of close games between them. Right off the bat, I'm noticing the height with the Wolves.
The Wolves took the 75-71 win last season on January 21st, but both teams are very different. Both teams lost a lot of talent. So this is basically a clean slate, I would have to say. But automatically, you would give it towards the Northwestern Polytechnic Wolves because of that height. You could already see you got to play at least 4 inches taller. Number 4, Shaq Nassim, taller than Gabriel Humild.
Absolutely, and they got quite some height in that forward spots as well. I'm looking at Manny Iloka, a pretty big guy, and as well, number 9, Aaron Ung Parsat, Cert. A couple of two really tall guys right off the bat. I will say Aaron's frame kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Chet Holmgren type of player. I'm excited to see what he does here on the floor. As well, Christian Lewang, for a guard, got some decent size on him as well.
And both those players, Lewang and Ioka, had big games against NAIT the last time they played in early January. Manny Ioka had 17 points and 8 rebounds, while Christian Lewang had 12 points and 11 rebounds. That's a double-double against this Ukes team.
Absolutely, and here's Lorenz right off the bat. And we know Lorenz, we're going to see some good games from every single night almost. As Humild, nice to see him warm up early. First two games, we didn't see too much action out of him. Spent a lot of his time passing, but it's good to see that aggressiveness there. Wide open in the corner, nails a 3 to give the Ukes the first lead of the game.
With Gabriel Humild, he's the brother of Ephraim Humild. And Gabriel, it just took him a little longer to get really going in the ACAC play. He wasn't able to hit quite his shots all the time, and he just wasn't looking like his high school self. But now you can see that he's really just gotten into the jersey, and he's really just found his way in the court.
Absolutely, and that was another good bucket there from Griffin Lorenz as well. It'll be nice to see maybe that tandem get to some scoring tonight. We know Lorenz is going to be leading the charge for the team as Humild puts in a second bucket.
But for one player, Griffin Lorenz, he is that standout player coming back for the Ukes. He was the only starter that played against his team in January, and he had 12 points and 7 rebounds. But one thing we've noted multiple times this season is if this game is ever the Griffin Lorenz show when it comes to offense, it's just not going to work for the team because they need to have more scorers than one. It can't be a one-dimensional offense.
And it looks like a double dribble was called there, as we already have subs for the Wolves just 2 minutes into this game.
And that's just good for the Northwestern Polytechnic Wolves. Head coach Evan Lloyd is really good at plugging his players in when he sees that they would be useful in a certain situation. And that's...
Ooh, look at that. The Ukes forcing the 5-second violation.
But that's just the Ukes showing that they are really going to be strong on defense early. Like that,
Yeah, 100%. And I like the Ukes, the way they're starting off this game with some early pressure. We saw that in the women's game as well. The Ukes jumped up to a 10-0 lead, and that set the tone for the rest of the game. And it looks like the Ukes, maybe we're watching that women's game and are wanting to take the same approach here.
I feel the last game was a barn burner for the Ukes women's team. This game, I think, is going to be a lot closer. These teams are a lot more evenly matched in each position. No one really has the advantage.
Absolutely. Ooh, and a good cross-court pass right there from Terrance LENNOX. He came right into the game off the bench, and he averages over 22 minutes per game. Definitely a sixth man, a good tool off the bench that the Ukes will have to take into account.
And those are those players you just don't quite always really put as much emphasis on in the scouting report. And those types of players can really be useful because then they just won't, because usually you won't have as much of a game plan against them.
And here we go. We're seeing lots of communication for the next, for the Ukes defense there. We haven't really seen there be many miscommunications so far, as some good defense still shuts it down the Wolves remain scoreless throughout the first 3.5 minutes almost of the game.
And for the Wolves, this is very uncharacteristic for the team. You have not been able to get your offense going whatsoever, and that's another steal from Griffin Lorenz. Even if they won't always 100% be getting those steals back, they've gotten in Northwestern Polytechnic's head.
And a really good deflection there from Weaver to get Lorenz the ball. I saw that assistant coach George Hoyt was kind of, motioning towards Weaver, saying, tonight's going to be your night. And I think we're already starting to see that too. We're seeing that in the mentality as he goes in for the drive and puts in the reverse layup basket. Timeout already called by the Wolves. Stay tuned. And we come back from that Wolves timeout. Ooks currently up 11-0. Ben, what do the Wolves need to do to finally put something in the basket here?
They need to find an open lane. They're just like that. For example, the Wolves are really pressing, but they were able to find the good pass and bring it up to number 11, Terrance LENNOX, the year 3 forward from Hamilton, Ontario, to finally get them on the board.
And again, we were talking about that, how he comes in here as the 6th man with some pretty immediate impact off the bench. Checked in just 2 minutes into the game, and he's now the first one to put points up for the Wolves. He's going to be a reliable scorer for them tonight. Oh, and there we go. There's that vision we were talking about that we needed to see from Griffin Lorenz, and already putting it on display to find Gleddy for that three-pointer. Yes, he is a big, but he can shoot.
And you could already tell that after the really tight, close win for the Ooks last time they played against Concordia, that they really have hit the practice courts hard and have really just been able to really figure each other out more. They're able to find each other better on the court.
Absolutely. Abdullahi will take a pull-up three, and that one misses, coming just short. Wolves have struggled to find offensive opportunities tonight here. Even the shots that they are taking are pretty heavily contested as Lennox finds his way inside. He might be the answer for the Wolves if they want to climb back into this.
He might be. And one thing to note about Yasser Abdullahi missing that pull-up three. Yasser Abdullahi last Saturday against Concordia started off really slowly on his offense. He couldn't get anything going. But then when he started to get his paint offense, when he started to get more buckets in the paint, he was able to get his offense going from the field and the perimeter, which was able to give him a lot more scoring chances. I'm pretty sure he had the highest he was playing the game that day.
Absolutely, and he finished that game, I believe, with 17 points, somewhere around that range. And it looked like he tried to find the pass there to Owen Weaver on that last play. Came in a little bit too hot for him. Bounced off the chest as the Wolves put in a couple more buckets. We're looking at a 14-6 game, but exactly that. Already what I'm seeing is there's more variation in this Ooks offense. Weaver's getting himself going a little bit earlier. Humilde as well. What do you think that kind of diversity that the Ooks are playing with tonight can help them take the lead?
It gives them a little more balance, and it takes more pressure off of Griffin Lorenz to have to score. And Griffin Lorenz is one of those players, he doesn't play the best under pressure. So when you have players around him helping him to score, it's really going to help him just help play freely. He currently has 2 points on the night, as Gabriel Humilde leads all players with 5.
Absolutely. As the Wolves will take it down court, Luang has been the primary ball handler for this Wolves team tonight, and that is Iloka missing on that pull-up jumper. Griffin Lorenz, one thing we will note about him, he's got some pretty hot hands when it comes to nabbing those balls. Every single game, not just one steal, usually multi-steal games for him.
And yeah, that's just exactly what he's able to do. He's also able to get in defenses. He's also able to get in offensive heads, when he does that, which causes commotion.
Absolutely, and that's the biggest thing about this Ooks team. They're great at turning their defense into offense. And that is number 7, Daniel Rocha Zandbergen, putting that bucket in through some tight defense. Also, the Ooks doing a good job so far of closing up on those inside shooters, as the Wolves are a very tall team, and the Ooks are having a little bit of trouble dealing with that so far tonight.
After the early run from the Ooks, the Northwestern Polytechnic Wolves have responded, but the Ooks have pulled a punch back as they're up 16-8 with 3 minutes and 9 seconds left in the first quarter.
And there's Owen Weaver wide open, but the clock does expire. He's kind of hanging around on that left side of the court, but they found him with the ball just a little bit too late. Good defense by the Wolves there.
Owen Weaver is one of those university transfers. He spent his first year at the University of Alberta with the Golden Bears, and then he came in last year, took that red shirt, and really took time to develop his game. And he's really coming key for the Ooks at many times this season.
Absolutely. And we see Linklater here in for the Ooks in replacement of Hugh Mild. Tried to find Lorenzer with a great shot opportunity, but couldn't quite put it in. And now putting the pressure on is the Wolves in that transition. Great pass there from Lennox.
And that's a timeout called by the Ooks.
And the Wolves, a nice little run they went on there, currently on a 10-5 run. They were able to break down that lead that was held by the Ooks for a little bit there. 11-0 game. Now we're looking at a 16-10 game. What do the Wolves do to continue to capitalize on their momentum with that Ooks timeout?
The Wolves really were just able to get their offense going, and now you can see the Ooks are starting to press. If they're really not able to just calm it down and just steady out, the Wolves can start to take the lead and run away with it.
Absolutely. And so far, we've seen Terrance LENNOX really start to lead the charge for the Wolves. What can the Ooks do to slow him down? Not only has he been getting them on the offensive end with scoring, but some pretty good playmaking from him tonight as well.
Lennox on the season usually averages about, from the field, he averages 44.4%, which is pretty high for a forward, but he also averages 22.5 minutes per game. So he is one of those constants that you can always see on the floor for the Wolves.
Absolutely. And a turnover there for the Wolves. Just a step too far out of bounds. Careless turnovers like that can really hurt you, especially when it's two close teams like this.
Oh, and you can see the youth of the Ooks starting to come out a little bit. They're starting to make some of those sloppy plays. They have not been able to keep that hot start going throughout the quarter.
Absolutely. But one of the nice things, positives we can take from that, though, is a lot of these players are doing a good job of trying to keep those balls in. Even if it's right past them, we're seeing them really extenuate just that extra little bit of effort to try and keep that ball in.
As they'll bring it back down the court with number 9, Abdullahi.
Oh, and a nice move there. He draws the foul. A good little fake. He used Antonio Benjamin as a screen. The defender expecting him to use the screen, fakes the left, goes right instead, and whether he makes or misses that one, he puts his defender behind him, which usually will result in a foul.
And Abdullahi and Benjamin have spent a couple years playing together for the Sioux team. So they have that chemistry already locked in coming into the season. And that's a connection that the Ooks have really had to rely upon multiple times.
Absolutely. Abdullahi making his first from the line, and he'll take his second shot, missing that, and a whistle's blown. It looks like the Wolves must have stepped out a little bit too early, as they'll let him retake the shot. You can't do that if you're the defending team. The second you step inside that line, before the ball has left their hands, they get another chance.
You got to make sure to always be staying patient.
Ooh, and a good stop there by Lennox. He had a lot of forward momentum going, but was able to stop himself right before going over the line. Benjamin, the long pass to Linklater, and then back to Wedman. Missed the first time, gets the putback though, and from a year one player like Wedman, that's what you want to see.
Exactly, and Jordan Baker does a great job at bringing in high quality recruiting classes, and that's exactly what he did this year. You have players like Austin Walters, Lessa Linklater, Hugh Mild, that are really just making the difference for the Ooks as they lost so much coming into the season. And Luka Korisech, Dante Dinter, D'Angelo Woodside, Benjamin Campbell, who was their leading scorer.
And I just want to go back to that play there on the Ooks defensive end there. We saw Aaron Prasert. I will say his shot looked really balanced there. Even though he had the contested mid-range, took the fadeaway. Very balanced in his shot, and that's something that the Ooks will have to look out for in number 9.
And for the Northwestern Polytechnic Wolves, you have a lot more experience on the team than you have for the Ooks. If we're looking at class breakdowns for the Ooks, you got 8 year ones, which is a big number, 2 year twos, and then you have 1 third year, 4th year, and 5th year. But for Northwestern Polytechnic, you got four first years, but then you got 10 second years, 2 third years, and 1 4th year. So you have a lot more players who have had that first trip go around in the ACAC, so they know what to expect.
Absolutely. That's interesting to see there. The Wolves didn't even send out their players to go rebound on that second free throw attempt. Do you think this Wolves team is prioritizing defense over potential offense in this game?
I think they are, but that's just something that they've really been doing, attacking in the in their game plan.
Absolutely, and a beautiful mid-range attempt there from Luang. Not only is he a great playmaker, but showing that he's got a nice form to a shot as well. Linklater, what a recovery from the fall. Almost put that one in.
But he won't get it as the Ooks will lead 19-15 after the early 10-0 start. Ugh.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was the second quarter.
Wish it was.
return out of that first quarter. A 19-15 Ooks lead. Wolves with some pretty strong momentum though, heading into that quarter. Originally, we saw the Ooks up 11 to nothing. Sorry. Wolves starting to make a comeback, kind of bringing that momentum in. Ben, what do both teams need to make as far as adjustments if they want to win this quarter?
I think for the Ukes, you really got to limit those freshman or inexperienced mistakes. And for Northwestern Polytechnic, you don't want to be giving away any of those easy balls. After that quick 11-0 run, Northwestern Polytechnic called that timeout. That was smartly called by Evan Lloyd because you could tell his team just really was able to calm down and flick that switch on. And they went on a 15 to 4 run towards the end of that first quarter.
And that was a little mistake there by Shaq Nassim, passing the ball just a little bit too far out of the hands of Manny Iloka. And now the Ooks will come back the other way. Now it is also, I do want to note, right now, the leading scorers for the Ooks, 2 freshmen.
Exactly.
Gabriel Humild and Amari Lesta Linklater.
Gabriel Humild had a really hot start, but hasn't come on. He hasn't come on in about 5-ish minutes. So it's really been Lesta Linklater taking over and just getting the offense going, because that's what the Ooks are needing right now, is that offense.
And Humild and Linklater, 2 high potential guards. Humild a little bit more on the scoring side, and then for Linklater, that really strong playmaking we've seen from him so far tonight. But you know the Ooks are going to have a good game when both are performing well.
They're going to out to Linklater.
When there's a good screen there by Elijah Van Boom, helped create that space, and the defender completely caught off guard.
And Elijah Van Boom was another one of those players who took that redshirt year along with Owen Weaver. And you could just see in his game how much that redshirt year really helped him. He's quite a lanky player, but he was able to really gain some muscle and just really find out how to use his big frame to his advantage.
Well, absolutely, and that's the biggest thing with Elijah. He's a very tall guy, tallest on the team, 6'10", but he can kill you in a couple different ways, whether it's inside in the post against some of the smaller defenders, or if he's got that length over you in the mid-range as well. He has no problem shooting right over you. Also,
with the height he has, he's going to win a lot of those rebounds whenever he has the chance.
And there's Linklater for 3. Couldn't quite pot it in, but good job by Griffin Lorenz to find the wide open shot there.
And one thing to note is for one of the players coming in, number 7, Jalen Alfonso, we haven't seen any action from him. This will be his first action in the NAIT gymnasium in his freshman career.
And that was a good 3-point shot there from Tony Kabonge. I thought the Ooks played some pretty solid defense there, but even if you leave a shooter open for a second, they will catch you sleeping. And Abdullahi comes right back to the 3-point of his own.
And Kabonge, with his free, he usually averages 46.7%. 46.7% from the field. So you're basically making 1 or 2 shots every time you go up for it.
Absolutely. Ooh, and he'll come back. Speaking of him, on the other end and get that deflection, breaking up that Ooks offensive play.
And then coming in for the Ooks will be Owen Weaver, Jalen Alfonso, and Steen Gretty.
And Owen Weaver so far, he's been getting pretty active, getting his hands on the ball a little bit more than we usually see. He likes to hang out, usually in those corners or come up on the drive. But tonight we've seen him a lot more on ball, which I think is good for his development as well.
Oh, and that was a little bit of a missed ball from number 20, Manny Iloka. He just sort of put it right up, but the ball was free, but no, Ook went for it.
And I noticed Jordan Baker there is absolutely correct. He just said he passed the ball to himself. That should have been a double dribble. Or sorry, not a double dribble, a travel.
The Ooks are really needing a point right now because they are stuck in a hole.
And here's the Wrens putting the moves on. But force the double team there. Oh! Good move by Gleddy. even though he didn't end up getting it in, a good job to draw the foul on that fake.
He was able to get number 20 Manny Ioka to jump and give him the foul. And Manny Ioka, the fourth-year forward from Vancouver, BC, is a 53.6% free field goal shooter, and he averages 10 rebounds per game and 27 minutes per game. If you're able to get number 20 in foul trouble early, that's really gonna benefit you, the Ooks, as the game goes on.
Absolutely, couldn't have said it better myself. And a strong rebounding presence there from the Wolves. I'd say the Wolves really putting that effort onto the defensive rebounds in tonight's game.
They are, and that's just something that we've seen change in the game plan from the first to second quarter. After that really honestly crap start for Northwestern Polytechnic, for the Wolves, they were able to pull it together and really get going on those getting those defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds, because they do a great job in transition.
And that'll be another travel for the Ooks there. And also the net there on that Ooks defensive end, kind of in within itself. We'll have to wait till the next Wolves bucket before we see it come back down.
It's been like that for about 3 minutes, though, which just shows the scoring drought that the Wolves are currently in. And that'll continue with the steal that will go towards the way of Alfonso.
Absolutely, and that was just some great defensive effort there from the Ooks, making sure that with that slight 3-point lead they have right now, they're looking to do everything they can to protect it.
And then one thing you could already tell from number 11, Terrance LENNOX, even though he's not always on the court right now, he's been doing a great job at really just telling his teammates where the open opportunities are. When you're on the bench and you're not on the court, the best thing for you to do is communicate to your players on the court what you're able to see. Because when you're playing, you're not able to see everything going on.
Oh!
No, basket will not go for Griffin Lorenz.
Yeah, unfortunately, you just can't use that level of physicality, and he 100% pushed off the defender there. That was the right call.
The refs have been, even though the refs have been letting them play, they have been doing a good job at stopping the play when they know that a violation has been made.
Absolutely. And to go back to Terrance LENNOX, absolutely. I can already tell that he has a high game IQ and probably some coaching in his future for sure.
I mean, Terrance LENNOX is a year 3, so he has been around the ACAC a couple times, and has faced this NAIT Ooks team. This will now be his fifth time facing them. And that 3 from number 7, Rocha Zanderbergen, is able to get the Wolves out of their scoring run and bring the net back to what it usually is supposed to be.
And almost a Kyrie-esque move there. That was from Wang on that three-pointer. Just ridiculous moves there. He's got a bright future for sure if he can pull off ISO plays like that.
And they'll get it back to Ioka, who's the leading scorer. And they will call a violation on Ioka.
And that's the thing, when he's got all that height, you could see he just jumps right over the defenders, but wasn't quite able to finish there. It looks like he's had a little bit of trouble maybe finding his hand-eye coordination tonight, already dropping a couple balls. But he'll look to regain some confidence here from the charity stripe as he sinks the first one.
And that puts it within a one-possession game.
And he'll sink the second as well. Free throws almost look effortless for him when he gets those arms up there. Pretty level with the basket.
And that just shows with the height he has. He's about 6'10", 6'11". When you have that much height in the middle of the court for your team, it's really going to prove helpful in those rebounds, in those free throw situations.
And Antonio Benjamin getting very active in tonight's game on those pick and rolls, sending lots of screens so far tonight.
The Dallas, Texas native has really had to take on a bigger role in the forward position for the Ukes.
Oh, surprised there was not a travel called there. It looks like he took 3 steps on the run.
They have really not called many of those travels today. But, as we said in the women's game, play to how the refs are calling it.
Absolutely. Oh, and a good job by Humil there to recognize that he had the much bigger defender, Ioka, on him. And ended up finding the wide open Abdullahi, who right now leads the team in points with 9 after that 3-point attempt. Oh, wow!
Well, that's gonna prove something.
And that'll bring a whole lot of momentum back to the Wolves in just this tight 2-point game. If you can get a slam like that, that'll definitely hype your team up for sure. I know I'm hyped. Ooh, and it looks like Lorenz might be losing his touch a little bit tonight. Even on these open shots, he's having trouble sinking it. He's doing a great job of getting open, but just isn't quite able to finish.
And Lorenz, this is exactly what happened to Yasser Abdullahi in the last game. He wasn't able to get his offense going for a while. So let's see right now for Griffin Lorenz if he's able to really start driving up to the paint and get that offense going. Once he can get that going, then let's see if he's able to translate that over to his arc shooting, which is incredible in the ACAC.
Absolutely. And Austin Walter will check in for the first time tonight for the Ukes. Oh, and that one was close for Humilda. I'm really liking the aggressiveness Humilda's taking in tonight's game. Lennox, a really nice layup there over the taller defender.
Then after the early 10-0 run, we are now tied at 30 apiece with 2 minutes and 22 seconds left in the first half.
And I'm taking a lot of ball movement right now for the Ukes. They find Abdullahi for another 3-point attempt. Ooh. Oh, good defense there. I think we both saw that that was Brandon Gillis wide open under the basket, but they got those arms up to disrupt the pass as we go into timeout. We return to you in that NAIT gymnasium just 2 minutes away from halftime in a tied 30-30 game. Ben, what do both teams need to do, both the Ukes and the Wolves? The game is kind of up in the midst here. Who do you think is going to start to take that momentum, and what do they have to do to take that momentum?
Right now, the momentum is absolutely with the Northwestern Polytechnic Wolves. If they're able to keep it going throughout the night, if they're able to keep it going into half, they could take it.
That was a good fake on the inbound there from Lennox. As he takes a deep 3 and makes it 2.
And Lennox is usually known for his paint play. So with him able to get his arc game going as well as Yasser Abdullahi, you're really just able to show that you're really all well-rounded in your offense.
And that's a good play by Abdullahi, recognizing that the defense was more focused on celebrating with Lennox. Oh my!
Ooh.
As he gets some height there over the shorter Humilde.
But both players are able to make it up just fine, which is all we worry about here. Subs will come in for both teams.
Just a minute 30 left in this quarter. The Wolves take their first lead of the night. And a early turnover in the shot clock there by Linklater.
And that was Umprasad. Stalks by Abdullahi there, but he's able to kick it out to number 11, Terrance LENNOX. He just wasn't quite able to stick it in.
Yeah, and a nice step back move there, but it looks like he might have got a little bit further back than he realized, just slightly short arming the shot there.
They'll kick it back out to Lorenz. And that will be a foul on number 3, Tony Kibonge, the year 2 guard from Prince George, BC.
And both teams are at 4 fouls, kind of in that middle area, not super conservative, but also not getting too much into foul trouble. Neither team in the bonus yet. Oh, and Abdullahi misses the layup there. Came in with some pretty significant speed, though. But he'll come back on the other end and make up for it, getting the deflection. Probably stopping the basket there.
And that's just a really smart play from Yasser Abdullahi. He was able to ID that the pass was going to go out far left, so he was able to run and poke it out and give his team a chance on defense to reset.
Absolutely, and I know that's one thing Jordan Baker is going to love, is those players that even if they don't make the basket on the other end, if they're able to immediately come over and transition into defense, that really helps the team. And it looks like Lennox just left without a defender there. He eventually comes and gets a spin move, but can't get it to go. But that'll be Rocha Zandbergen coming in with the second chance points and the and one.
And that's a momentum shifting play for the Wolves. You could tell how excited they were with that one.
Absolutely. And with just 29 seconds left in this quarter, you're absolutely right. What you said earlier, Ben, and the Wolves are really using this momentum to their advantage. Good board by Griffin Lorenz. Kind of reaching over the player there, but he stuck with it as Abdullahi. Nice little floater game from him.
And a timeout is called by the Wolves. Is proving to be vital in this tight 35-36 game, as we are coming out of one called by the Wolves with 20 seconds left in the first half.
Absolutely, Ben, and we saw there in that timeout, Lennox, it looked like, was there drawing up the play, potentially maybe finding something for himself or his teammate. But we know with Lennox, just some great leadership that he showcased in tonight's game.
And ball will be poked away, and this will be a one-point matchup as we go into halftime.
They're playing some hot potato there. Welcome back to the NAIT Gymnasium. I'm Tristan Johnston here with Benjamin Lowan. Now, Ben, very close game. Well, we're looking at here 35 to 36. Ooks had that initial run, but Wolves have been running with most of that momentum. We saw the Ooks so make up a little bit of that scoring to end the quarter. Ben, do you think the Ooks carry through that momentum from that last minute, or the Wolves, who have been more consistent tonight, do they return back to form and continue building the lead off of that three-point attempt?
Right now I'm leaning towards Northwestern Polytechnic, but we're going to have to see how these first couple minutes go for the Ukes. If they play like the young team that they are, it's not going to work for them. But if they show more of their experience and sink those easy shots, it's going towards the Ukes.
Absolutely, and we've seen an early turnover in the quarter. You might be right. It might be leaning towards the Wolves here. Just a little bit more experience on that Wolves roster, and I think we've seen that here tonight. Able to bounce back even when they were down. Ooks, that's the one advantage about them being that young team. They have lots of extra energy, especially to get off rip to put them up early. But that's has been the problem with the Ooks so far, is maintaining that consistency in their offense. We know that they can get off to early leads, but it's about keeping the lead. As Humild misses that three-point attempt, it almost looks like it slipped out of his hands. It might have came off a little bit early there.
It was a little funky. We'll say that. Some funky cheese there, but they just once again look at the score right now. The Ooks have not moved up the score in their direction in the quarter. In the first quarter, we saw them go on a quick 10-0 run, and right now they've been completely stopped in the second half.
Absolutely agree, Ben, and it looks like as well, Ioka had a little bit of a trouble keeping control of the ball in that first half, but already we're seeing him with a little bit more control, a little bit more confidence in this half. What kind of difference do you think Ioka makes if he really starts to find his form in this half?
Ioka is just, with how tall he is, he's able to win 9 out of 10 defensive rebounds, and that is so key for the Northwestern Polytechnic Wolves because they're so good at transitioning from defense to offense.
And speaking of Ioka, almost getting that block there and forcing Lorenz to take that shot after they failed to capitalize off the rebound. And a quick little bucket there from number 9. Once again, we talk about that height with the Wolves. They weren't really taking advantage of it, I feel like, in that first half, and they're starting to find it a lot more. Ooks taking a lot of contested shots. I haven't seen a wide open shot from them so far in the quarter.
And one thing to talk about is the balance for the Ooks. Right now you have Yasser Abdullahi, who's really doing his work with 14 points, but then you only got Gabriel Humild at 5. Lessa Linklater at 4, Weaver at 4, Gleddy at 4, and Griffin Lorenz is only at 2 points on the night. That's unheard of for a first half for Lorenz.
That's true, but also important to note, Griffin Lorenz is at 6 assists. So although we haven't seen him on the offensive end, currently shooting 1 for 4, struggle to put the ball in the hoop. Just a little distracted there. Lorenz got a hug. It's good to see your competition. Sometimes you have to take a break within the game and let them know that it's all love. And
I mean, it's quite like the common saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer situation. And that's super close.
Absolutely, but Ooks will not complain about the extra foul there. They're trying to find a way to break down this Wolves defense, but they're not really budging. Ooh. And Ioka comes back with a big block, points to the number on his chest, letting him know, hey, I'm here to stop you.
And that is a shot down block from Manny Ioka. A block like that can get in any team's head.
Absolutely. You didn't even have to reach up for it. It almost looked like you're swatting a fly or something. It's just the size on Ioka is ridiculous.
Look at that to Gleddy.
That was a good 3, yeah.
And Gleddy stops the scoring drought as they will pull ahead in the match, 41-40.
The Ooks have done a good job of keeping this game close. despite the fact I'd say the Wolves have been playing stronger in this quarter. Only a 2-point differential. The ball getting a little bit too ahead, but a good save by Gladdy. We'll keep it in. Lorenz wide open. We'll give it back to Linklater. Surprised he didn't go for the 3-point attempt there, but he's able to draw the taller Ioka out. Oh, but he sends it back. Yeah, that's the thing with height like that. You can't shoot over it.
I was going to say, that's just unfortunate for Amari Leslie Linklater. That's one of those freshman mistakes as he tried to go over number 20, Manny Ioka, and the fourth-year forward from Vancouver, BC, was having absolutely none of it.
One thing I am noticing, though, he's spending a lot of time in that paint. I'm not seeing the refs calling any inside paint violations. So once again, that's one of the things we talk about here is kind of looking out for the refs, seeing what they call, seeing what they don't call, and he's really taking advantage of that extra time he could spend in the paint. And when you have a guy, a rim protector like that can get away with maybe 5 or 6 seconds staying inside that defensive paint as he comes back to the dunk on the other end. We might be watching the Ioka show.
I have to agree with you. This is the Ioka show.
And an obvious foul there on number 7, Zandbergen.
And Ioka right now, he does, even though he's been the flashier player, he's currently tied for the lead. And guess who's coming in? Terrance LENNOX, who currently is also tied with Ioka for the lead at 10 points apiece. That was the longest way I could have said that sentence.
And I think looking at Ioka and Lennox here, it is the perfect example of, someone that has been gifted with a very big frame and knows how to use it. Versus with Lennox, he doesn't quite have the same height or reach that Ioka has. But incredible work ethic from Lennox on top of IQ. And you don't always have to be the tallest guy on the floor to make a strong impact.
Exactly, and then look at that. That was a pass from Amari Leslie Linklater trying to get it in. And Terrence Jones is just able to get it up. And it looks like Linklater will be coming out, which is much needed because he's been really rock solid for the Ukes today. But that freshman mentality is starting to come out, and those mistakes were being shown. As we'll see another first-time player coming in for the Ukes, number 10, Mikael Manio, the year 1 guard from Calgary, Alberta. This is some of his first action in the Ukes jersey.
Yeah, absolutely, and we were watching him in the preseason. He's a dangerous shooter. I have noticed you really can't leave him on the perimeter. But he's also got some good athleticism as well. And Ioka just all over the floor in the second half. I don't know what happened. Maybe he got broken up with during that halftime, but he's got crazy energy and motivation coming into this quarter.
But the Manny Ioka show has more viewers than Big Brother at this point.
And that'll be Owen Weaver at the line for 2. We saw him come off some really strong energy in those first kind of 3 to 5 minutes in that first quarter, but we've yet to really see him too much since then. We'll see what he can do to get back into the game as he misses both free throws. That's tough.
And that is not what you want. Once again, it's just like a serve in volleyball. It's all in your hands. And he just wasn't able to convert it.
And there we go. The Ukes taking a little bit of a slower pace to that fast break. Normally I think that's something where they would have passed it a lot. But speaking of passing forward ahead, here's the connection from Ioka to Lennox. Both of them tripping over each other, but that'll send him to the line.
Phil, Ioka has gotten the last 3 defensive rebounds for the Ukes. When you're shooting, you got to have a man on Ioka to at least give your team a chance of rebounding that ball back.
Absolutely. He's currently leading the team in rebounds right now at 6. It almost feels like it has been more, though.
I'd agree with you on that one.
And it looks like maybe a bit of a free throw drought. I'm not sure if they maybe adjusted the hoops during halftime or something, but we've yet to see a free throw go down so far in this quarter. Yeah, that's 4 missed free throws in a row in this quarter. Ooh, and the right idea inside, but we're starting to see a lot of bodies at the floor now.
And that just looked like it could have been a really rough injury.
Absolutely.
If Griffin Lorenz landed the wrong way on his head. So we're happy he's getting up 5 as he heads back to that charity stripe. Him and number 11, Terrance, are just able to laugh it off.
Absolutely. And the Ooks already in the bonus, only halfway through this quarter. We're seeing a lot of contact coming out of the half.
And even though the Wolves are leading 5-2 in fouls, the Ukes have just not been able to capitalize on those free throws whatsoever. If they're able to sink a couple more of those free throws, we would have a tied game with how many they're gonna get because the Wolves are already in the
Bonus.
exactly. Put the words in my mouth there, which I needed.
Yeah, on this this longer pre-Halloween weekend, a lot of people starting to get ready for probably some going out tonight. Energy might be a little bit lower from some long weeks. A lot of students having midterms, but it's great to have some basketball like this to put a little bit more energy back, I think, into not only the fans, maybe those watching at home, but for us as well. I know I needed it.
I will say it adds a really nice change in the Monday routine.
And that's the first long ball we've seen from Ioka, but he puts it in.
Oh, this is the Ioka show right now, Tristan. Like, they have to stop him any way possible. He currently has 13 points on the night, 1 assist, rebounds. He's absolutely ridiculous with 6. So he's really close to a double-double.
And there's another steal. He's going to put it in. He missed. But they'll take it. They get Lennox with the N1. I was really looking forward to a big slam there, but
that's just showing a little bit of Manny Ioka's maturity, as he could have gone for the easy.
$25 combined points tonight between Terrance LENNOX and Emmanuel Ioka, combining for half of the Polytechnic Wolves points here tonight. It's obvious that the team has to do something to stop these two. I noticed the Ooks, I was actually right about to say before we went into the break, the Ooks need to put the height that they have in Elijah Van Boom out there to stop Ioka. He's really the only one with the height to compare with him, and I'm happy they did.
But now that you have a little more of an even matchup, let's see if Elijah Van Boom is able to win a couple more of those plays. Give the Ukes a chance because they are currently down by 7.
Absolutely, and for Jordan Baker as well, this is probably a test to see what Elijah Van Boom can do under the pressure. Traditionally, we haven't really seen him so far in any major roles so far in this season, but this will be kind of his first chance to test his mettle and step up against the Wolves' current leading scorer, Emmanuel Ioka.
They get it out to number 6, Van Boom.
Oh, and you'll find Hugh Mild trying to find some space here.
Oh, good. There you
go.
And
there we go.
There you go. That's a nice looking play to get around Ioka.
And he's got himself up to 7 points. This is so far his highest scoring game this season.
And once again, that's just Emmanuel Ioka. Even though the smart coaching move was made by Jordan Baker to put a taller Van Boom on, he's still not able to stop Ioka. No players for the Ukes have been able to stop number 20 tonight.
And that ball just a little bit too far ahead for Griffin Lorenz, who struggled to find scoring tonight. Only 5 points, 2 for 5 shooting. in tonight's game. We saw him really take over the game, especially in the preseason. We also saw in that home game here that he was able to step up and kind of be a little bit of a glimmer of hope for this Ooks team. Tonight we've seen him more in the playmaking end, 6 assists, something like 3 or 4 steals. He's been really active on the defensive end. But I think they have to get the ball a little bit more to him, maybe in some ISO-type plays. That's where he shines.
And they get the and one as Jordan Baker was not too impressed with his players on that play.
Well, and it just looks like morale is down right now amongst the Ooks, who now find themselves down 11. All of the momentum is on the Wolves' side.
Sorry to cut you off there, Tris, but even Yasser Abdullahi, he's been stuck at 14 points for at least a quarter.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. The Ooks just need to find someone they can rely on right now. You can tell that spirits are down, and they just need something to get them back into this game. Not as much as the movement. We remember we saw in that women's game almost constant movement, and that's what ended up leading to their over 40-point victory, and we're just not seeing the same kind of movement. Good effort there from Van Boom to recover the ball. But we'll see the Wolves end up stripping that one. Lennox up and shows his height. Who's going to stop these two?
Great question, Tristan. And right now, I think it'd have to be Lorenz or Wedman or Owen Weaver. Owen Weaver is a great defender. You really have to start slowing down those two right now if you want to get anything going.
Oh, good rebound and one from Griffin Lorenz. That might be what he needs to start getting that scoring going again.
And if Griffin Lorenz is able to get the and one, this will be a 10-point game, which is not a big margin to overcome if you're the Oaks.
Absolutely, and despite the fact that the Wolves have had significant momentum in this quarter, the Ooks have kept it close. And that one will go as well as the Wrens get the and one. We saw earlier in the quarter a lot of drought from the free throw line. Those first 4 shots bouncing off the rim. It's nice to see that players have finally found their groove at the line. And you can see that wingspan there from Van Boom as he's got his arms out. Almost feels like he can reach across the entire paint.
And Van Boom, even though he has that size, I have to say he hasn't been doing the best job at using his length to his advantage tonight.
True.
Because he has still let Manny Ioka win on multiple one-on-one battles.
Absolutely, and that's the thing with Ioka. You can see the confidence that he built up in halftime. In the first half, he wasn't really getting active. Only put in a couple baskets. Was more focused on that defensive end and struggled to kind of keep control of the ball. And it goes to show how much confidence can change a player's game. Once he came out of that halftime with a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder, he's just absolutely started cooking. But there we go. We're starting to see some signs of life in that Ooks offense. Wedman with the three-pointer.
And after the three-pointer by Wedman, let's see if they can get a stop and get a run going as we're in the final minute of this third quarter.
Absolutely. And the Ooks need this momentum to carry through right now. As we're nearing the end of the third quarter, it's kind of whoever pulls that momentum through into the fourth that has a high chance of winning this game.
Van Boom used the screen on that one, but that just showed a little bit of his inexperience coming in as he just lost track of that ball at a really crucial time for the Ooks.
Yeah, and the Ooks have had some problems in the second half with ball control. A few reckless plays here, and the most important thing is just keeping control of the ball, limiting those turnovers. And there we go. Van Boom finally gets something to go. And that'll be the three-point attempt from Zanderberg, who has struggled a little bit offensively tonight, only 5 points. Oh, and Weaver, a nice move. Kicks it out, though. And the struggles again. We were talking about that ball control.
The freshmen have not been on the best part of their game. Yasser Abdullahi gets out of his scoring drought, and we'll have a 4-point game going into the final quarter.
Almost there. 10 more minutes. out of that break. A very close game. We saw the Wolves jump up to an 11-point lead halfway through that third quarter. But we've got ourselves a close game again, 55 to 59. What do the Ooks need to do to continue that momentum that they had from the end of the fourth?
I think for the Ooks right now, you just got to get your offense going. It's been a little off and on. You got Yasser Abdullahi out of his scoring drought quickly. So if they're able to get the ball to Abdullahi, Lorenz, those really high scoring players, they can take this game.
Absolutely, and we saw Lorenz absolutely dominate the preseason, but I'm going to be honest, in conference play so far, I think Abdullahi has actually shown to be the leader of this team a little bit.
I have to agree with you, and not just with Abdullahi's experience. Abdullahi is a fourth year, is a fourth year, and Griffin Lorenz is also a fourth year for the Ooks. So they just are showing that they have a fifth year. So they're showing that they can use their senior experience when they need it.
Absolutely, and Abdullahi, he did have that injury. I know you sat down and talked with him about it.
2 ACL tears.
Absolutely, and that's no easy thing to go through. And the fact that Abdullahi has come back from all that, and I think really also used that time to learn a lot. I know he was talking about how it's hard for them, kind of watching from the sideline, not being able to go out in the court and play the game he loves. But I think he really used that time well to develop more of the mental game, and we're seeing him put it out on the floor.
100%. Players always want to be out on the court, but it takes a lot for you to be. You learn a lot from being sidelined in certain situations. And that's Ioka once again stopping the shot of Owen Weaver.
And the wide open three-point attempt bounces out, but the Ooks definitely can't let that happen again, especially not if they want to come back in this fourth quarter. You can't be giving teams open three-pointers. One thing I do want to note, though, is although Ioka has dropped four more points on top of Elijah Van Boom in that last quarter, I think we're starting to see Ioka start to slow down a little bit. So I think Van Boom is starting to get a little bit more into his rhythm, and I think we'll see the Wolves probably go to Lennox just a little bit more in these sets.
Jordan Baker, also head coach Jordan Baker, I know made some game plans during the intermission between third and fourth quarters about Manny Ioka, and right now the Ooks are doing a great job at stopping him.
And that's just one of those plays right there, especially in the fourth quarter. You gotta look for the extra pass. Contested threes are not going to get you back into this game per se, and I think that's one of the things we've seen lacking from this Ooks team in comparison to the first half. They were playing really unselfish, team-orientated ball, versus in the second half they've gone a lot more to the isolation type style
100%.
plays, or just trying to get it done all by yourself, which isn't going to work.
There's no I in team, and especially in ACAC basketball, that saying will get you nowhere.
Absolutely. And that'll be Abdullahi with the rebound. 7 rebounds on the night. He's actually been the team's leader in rebounds. That'll actually put him at 8, sorry. And with just 2 more, Abdullahi could see himself with a triple-double, as that is Gleddy, who will now hit double digits in points, putting that one in.
And relatively saying, with how close it's been a really clean fourth quarter for both teams. We only have a foul apiece.
Absolutely. And we saw in that second quarter, both teams finding themselves pretty significantly into that foul trouble, and we're seeing that start to get cleaned up in this half.
And even though teams are cleaning it up offensive-wise, for the Ooks right now, you could start to tell that with this being such a young team, they're really starting to press and feel the pressure as they're down by 3 with 7 minutes left in the game.
Absolutely. And we're starting to see Owen Weaver on the ball quite a bit in this quarter, as Lennox, good, whoa, and his teammate jumping over him right there. That was Lewang, who has 7 points in tonight's game.
And when that's another steal, these scoring droughts for the Ooks at the start of the second, third quarter have really hurt them.
And they got lucky. There's that 3-point didn't drop. Honestly, the only thing keeping this game so close right now has been the luck for the Ooks. They're just not quite up to par. As it's really been Abdullahi carrying this team in the last 5 minutes.
I have to say it has been Yasser Abdullahi carrying the team as well. They've just not been able to really get their offense going with anyone else. Stan Glady has 11, but he's been stuck at 11 for a while.
Absolutely. And we'll see Owen Weaver start to take more of this lead ball handling here. I'm surprised to see Lorenz not as much on the ball. I mean, we've seen tonight, he's only taken 6 shots. I mean, when you're one of the top guys on this team in a 40-minute game, you do want to see him get a little bit more aggressive, as we haven't seen him statistically really do much since the first half.
But I mean, that's just an attest to how good the Northwestern Polytechnic game plan is. Wolves' game plan is. They were able to really just put a nice game plan around Griffin Lorenz and execute it basically to perfection, because they've been able to hold him for 8 points. As his first game in conference season, he went for 33.
And Abdullahi, you can tell he's got that dog mentality in him right now. He saw that ball coming in and said, "Give it to me. I'm going to take it all the way to the other end." And getting fouled and going to the line for 2. Abdullahi almost looking to add his 20th point of the night on here. He is really taking that jump for this team and putting the Ooks on his back.
And one thing about Yasser is he just does not like to lose, and he's going to do everything in his power to not have that happen.
And this could be just a 1-point game if he makes it. This will be the first time the Ooks will have been within 1 the entire quarter.
Yeah. I don't think they've had the lead since that early 10-0 run they had at the start.
No, they have not, and the Wolves have controlled the pace almost this entire second half. And foul will be called on number 3. That'll send Luang to the line for 2 more shots. Luang has actually been pretty aggressive in this quarter. Already taken 2 shots, and this will get him to the charity stripe to potentially extend that lead to 3.
And in the last game these two teams played, Christian Luang had 12 points and 11 rebounds. So he did get that double-double, but right now he's not close to that tonight, as he only has 7 points and 2 rebounds. As I think we'll be changing jerseys here, maybe. I don't know. Huh. Something happened. Oh, okay. This is something new.
Yeah, and it looks like Stan Glady may be having some...
Oh, I think it might be blood. That's why he's going over to the athletic trainer. Because as immediately when a ref sees blood, they will ask the player off because they don't want to see any blood on the court.
Well, and as well, you do have to take into consideration health concerns as well. Any transfer of blood in a game like this, you never know what could happen.
I don't think these guys are trying to be blood brothers anytime soon. Quite literally.
And another steal from Ioka. He's really come through not only in the offensive end in this half, but defensively as well. That's got to be his 5th or 6th steal on the night. And it looks like Glady all bandaged up. He'll switch into number 15 to play the rest of this game. A deep 3 from... He just makes anything he wants in this half, apparently.
Like, no one I just have to say, no one's been able to stop him for the Ukes. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely, and he hasn't missed a single 3-point attempt tonight. He's made both of the shots he's taken. He's been very selective too, not forcing it, but he knows that he's wide open.
And you could just start to feel the game slip away for the Ukes. If you're Jordan Baker right now, what are you telling your team?
We're just saying you're telling the team it's just that movement, that effort. We failed to see, I guess, a real offensive coordination in this fourth quarter. They're not pushing the pace, I feel, as much. More playing reactionary basketball instead of controlling the pace of the game. Abdullahi really has been the only player that has kind of slowed the game down and almost made the Wolves to his mercy. Versus, I feel the rest of the team has been subject to a strong Wolves defense.
I have to agree with you on that one, Tristan.
And there's an aggressiveness from Abdullahi. Even if he doesn't score, he's getting to the line.
He's not afraid of driving through traffic, and that's what a lot of drivers do on the Anthony Hand Day. We like to make jokes here, especially when we've commentated 2 games and the exhaustion starts to set in.
That 3 hours of sleep. Four minutes left in this quarter as Abdullahi will head to the line. We're currently at a 6-point lead for the Wolves. Last time these two teams faced, it was a 75 to 71 game, and we're looking at a pretty similar score late in the fourth quarter. You know, close game in the 70s. What do the Ooks need to do to separate this game from the last seasons, where they do a little bit more to maybe push themselves over that edge, get this game a little bit closer?
I think for the Ukes right now, you really just have to stay calm and try to get those try to just make the smart pass. If you don't make the smart pass, then you're not going to get anything going on your offense. And you also got to try to stop Manny Yoka if possible.
You read my mind, Ben.
We're
and there we go. We finally see Lorenz get some action on the steal. Oh my goodness!
Woo. That's something.
That's not often you see a guard go up for the block like that. And that'll definitely give the Wolves some momentum.
And I was about to say, Tristan, you took the words out of my mouth there, but that was a momentum shifting play for Northwestern Polytechnic, but they're not able to transition as they missed the shot from number 8, Christian Luang.
And Weaver, there's finally some of that aggression, but can't quite finish. We saw him hit a really nice reverse layup in that first half, but couldn't quite put it in on this one.
And we're about 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in the game. That's about how long it takes to finish Mushroom Gorge and Mario Kart Wii. What do the teams have to do to finish first place?
Well, if you're the Wolves right now, keep doing what you're doing. You have all the momentum on your side. Just focus on that defensive end. Just because you have the lead, you can't get comfortable. We even saw in that women's game, the Ooks were up by 40 points and they were still playing like they were down by 5. So as long as the Wolves here keep that pressure high, there's no reason why they can't walk away with the win here.
See, I think you gotta, if we're still relating it to Mario characters here, you gotta be playing as hard as Bowser would be playing this game right now. You cannot be playing it like Princess Peach or anyone like that. You cannot be too dainty.
Absolutely, and the Ooks here are hoping to maybe save the game as Mario tries to save Princess Peach.
And often he fails. Like, still, this might be a bad thing to say, but I cannot get past World 2 in new Super Mario Bros. Wii.
You know what, Ben?
Sorry, Princess Peach, I ain't saving you now.
Honesty is key, Ben, and the first step to improvement is realization. And maybe the first step for the Ooks here is realizing that they need to push the pace as Abdullahi almost got that one to go. We saw he did that at the end of the third, made that fadeaway jumper, and was really close to doing it again.
And Yasser is really good under pressure, but he just wasn't able to hit it. If Northwestern Polytechnic is able to keep it at a 2-score game for about for the next minute and a bit, this game could be over.
Now, one thing I've been surprised to see, they haven't been going to Ioka on offense. That was Kabange putting that one in for the bucket. We're now looking at a 7-point game, less than 2 minutes left. But Ioka stayed a little bit quiet on the offensive end in this quarter.
And after the Ooks have been playing really good the first 3 quarters, but you notice a little bit of that youth experience coming into play as they're not able to really just be sharp when they need it.
Absolutely. And Baker giving Humild a few words. We'll see what he does with the play here.
And this is probably one of the tightest games that Gabriel Humild has played in a NAIT jersey. So we're going to have to see what happens. Oh, he will be subbed out for number 11, Cole Wedman. I think that's a smart decision by Baker to add a little more size, as you still have Ioka on the floor.
Yep, and Wedman in tonight's game, 5 points, 1 for 1 from the 3-point line. We saw Humild hit a really strong first quarter, but has yet to capitalize on that momentum since. And there's Weaver sinking one of his 2 shots, which will leave this to a 6-point game. And there we go. We finally see Ioka on the ball, looking for a teammate here, it looks like, and he'll find Lennox.
Oh.
And that's a second missed dunk of the night.
But I like that you're trying to take those dunks, but with how close the game is,
You can't be taking chances like that.
Take the smart shot. You really need to be taking that smart shot to put the guaranteed points on the board. It's not about being flashy. It's about putting it away.
Absolutely. Oh, and there's Weaver making an aggressive move, but he finds a pass instead. That one will go as timeout is called for the Wolves. We'll be right back. A minute and 10 seconds left here in this fourth quarter. We're looking at a 4-point game, very, very close. Tristan Johnson here with Ben Lowan as you're catching late quarter action in ACAC North Conference play. Now, Ben, what do you think was discussed in that timeout? Now, we saw the Wolves call it, but realistically, it's the Ooks that need to find the pieces to put together to remake this 4-point deficit that they're down by. 45 seconds left. What do they do here?
They need to get a play going fast.
Oh!
Oh!
Twice on the pipes.
But that's just
Blocked
great.
both.
But that's great court vision from Manny Ioka to ID that Stan Gleddy was going to go for it and put it up. But now that sends the Ooks back to the free throw line. which is what you want for if you're the Wolves right now, because they haven't been able to convert from that charity stripe for most of the night.
Absolutely, and this would be Gleddy heading to the line. Now wearing jersey number 15, we saw he got that cut. Now he's that bandage on his shoulder. We'll see what he can do here. And he makes the first one. This second shot will literally make the difference between whether they could win the game on a 3 or tie it. And that one misses.
That was one he had to have.
Absolutely.
Absolutely had to have.
Abdullahi almost was able to get that rebound there, but unfortunately the height on that Wolves team just ends up trumping the effort there.
30 seconds left. Northwestern Polytechnic, this is smart. Try to run out the clock. Get the least amount of opportunity to
and the three-pointer from Ioka. Will it go? It doesn't. That was his first miss from the three-point line.
Gotta get it going. They gotta get it going. They gotta go.
What do they cook up here? From 3. Hits it!
Oh!
Are you kidding me?
Oh, okay.
On. We're going to be figuring out if we stay the night here tonight. We've got ourselves a tied game with 14 seconds left. The Wolves, this is make or break for them.
Of course you
got
got
it. Turnover! What do they do here? They've got 10 seconds left on the clock.
They got time. They got time. They got time. Oh, they dump a tip on the branch.
There's 2.7
seconds.
Oh,
he got it! Oh my God!
It doesn't matter. They missed it. What did we just watch? What did we witness? Wow!
Oh my God, that was impressive!
Are you kidding me? What did we just watch?
Play the game. Whoa, okay.
The Alberta Colleges Athletic Conference and NAIT Athletics are pleased to recognize today's players of the game. The elite promotional marketing player of the game for the Northwestern Polytechnic Wolves is number 8, Terrance LENNOX.
And the Wang was a big part of that fourth quarter push that made the game so close.
The Boston Pizza player of the game for your NAIT Books is number 1, Griffin Lorenz.
And that's no surprise there. Put the team on his back, scoring the winning basket for the team. Not only did he tie the game off a ridiculous transition three-pointer, but won the game for them there. And those final dying seconds, we were talking about Griffin Lorenz needing to take that aggressiveness because we know he can put the team on his back. And what does he do?
Exactly, but now we're gonna have to see after both teams are really gonna
Go.